Hey everybody, Joshua Laycock here. I read a really interesting quote the other day, and man, has it ever stuck with me. And I couldn't find the original author, but the quote said, "Don't cut the man to fit the cloth." And I'm sure that it has some agreed upon meaning. But for me, I don't know, it really sunk in. It was funny. It was just one of those quotes at the beginning of a chapter of a book that I usually kind of read and go, oh, that's clever. But, don't cut the man to fit the cloth. Just screamed in my face that you have to be, at the very least, working towards, but ideally living in congruence with what you are meant to do on this planet. And I know for a lot of people that goes to their career, and great. If you can find a career that aligns, fantastic. But this is sort of this theme that I've been talking about. I talked about it, whether are you feeling alive? Are you doing something that makes you feel alive, that is something that's worth doing? But if you allow yourself to be hemmed in to some situation that is so out of alignment with who you are and who you are meant to be, in the long run, you will absolutely be miserable. And I think that's what's getting a lot of people. I think that's what's held me back for a significant amount of time, is we give ourselves all these stories, all the narratives around why we can or can't do something. But the simple reality is that if you choose to not, as I've said, at the very least, start to seek out those things that you were meant to do, if you don't start to look for what your calling is, or worse, you hear it and you don't act, I believe very firmly that at worst, you will be miserable, depressed, impotent, figuratively, irrelevant. At best, you're mediocre and you just float through life, just surviving. And the types of people that I work with and the types of conversations that I have with myself, we all agree that that's not acceptable. It is not living. It is not a way that we want to honor ourselves and to step in fully to what we are capable of. And it means some tough decisions. It means some soul searching. It means maybe taking some risks, finding some courage. But I'm just going to keep banging this freaking message home until I believe it as much as I think everyone else should believe it. Don't cut the man to fit the cloth. We do so much of this. We compromise so much of who we are. There are people who compromise their morals and their values to get ahead. It's the same thing. But there are people who deny what they're capable of. They deny what their calling is. They deny a passion, a belief, a love. Because what? They're afraid it won't make them rich. Because it's work. I don't know. This is an internal narrative that I've had with myself for years now, and I am at the point now where it is unacceptable to not follow my path and to be true to who I am. And the people who know me will see it. They'll see it in the conversations that I have. They'll see it in the way that I carry myself at work. They'll see it in the way that I'm honest with people. Sometimes I'm sure it feels brutally, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm not out to cause damage. I'm out to be honest, and I'm out to say things that I think need to be said. They're not always comfortable. I've also decided that I'm no longer going to apologize for these things. I'm not going to be reckless. I'm not going to be malicious, but I am going to be honest and truthful with who I am and what I'm thinking and what I feel. And if I feel that it is something that needs to be said, then I'm going to fucking say it. Is that going to get me into some hot water? Probably. But that's okay. Because I'm kind of at the point now where I'm comfortable with that. Because living comfortably within the lines is misery. And while I have so much to be grateful for, I have an unbelievably amazing wife and 2 brilliant children. And my life is, by most people's measure, ridiculously amazing and successful. And I am not discounting any of that. I also know that in my heart, playing by these rules and playing it safe will not lead to long-term happiness. And not only is that not discounting what I have, it's actually doing them a monster disservice. This selfishness that people say, I can't go to the gym because I need to spend time with my kids. I'm being selfish. I'm being selfish by taking care of myself. I'm being selfish by following my passions and my dreams. No. Provided you aren't being reckless in the short run, throwing it all in just because you want to take a swing. But no, in the long run, doing nothing is massively selfish. Doing nothing and allowing yourself to atrophy, allowing yourself to grow more and more miserable and irrelevant every single day is arguably the biggest disservice that you can do for your family and the people that depend upon you. And as I said, this is as much for me as it is for you, but hopefully it resonates with you. Do not cut the man to fit the cloth. Go after it. You owe it to yourself and you owe it to the people that depend on you. Unless, of course, you want to be mediocre and you want to be irrelevant and you want to allow yourself to atrophy and you want to look back on your life wishing you'd done something differently. I can't imagine any of you want that for yourself. So muster up the courage. Let's muster up the courage to go after it, to step into who we're meant to be, and to answer that calling. And if you don't know what that is, you keep running into shit until it sticks. You keep finding ways to find ways. Because every single person on this planet, I believe, is meant for something. And that doesn't have to be your 9 to 5. But you have to have something in your life that speaks to you. That when you do it, you feel like you're home. Not only does it not feel like work, but it energizes you. It makes you excited. You look back on that and go, shit, that was fun. That was incredible. Doesn't matter what it is. If you can bring the world up, great. If you feel that way about making popsicle stick castles and taking pictures and putting them on Instagram, fuck, great. Just do something. Don't worry about the laughter. Don't worry about people not getting you. Don't worry about whether it pays all your bills. Just do it. Don't cut the man to fit the cloth. See you tomorrow.